What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and today we are talking about Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall. So at the beginning of the year, end of last year, I'm not quite sure which, I read another book by Kate Alice Marshall that was more of a survival setting. It was about a girl and her dog lost in the woods, blah, blah, blah. I liked it, but it wasn't the best, and I would say that that was kind of my same feel for Rules for Vanishing. This book is a ghost story. It's told kind of like a, like this happened to us, and now like we're being interviewed by the police. We're trying to figure out again what happened. So there are videos captured from phones, there are written accounts, all that kind of stuff. And listening to this book, it was pretty interesting. I did like the interviews. I didn't like that it had two different narrators, and then on top of that, there were so many characters. It was pretty difficult for me to keep up with the voices and to remember who was who. That's probably an audiobook thing. I don't really think that that is a written book thing, but I will say I do think that there were too many characters. This is about a girl named Sarah who is looking for her sister Becca. There's this old ghost story in this town about a girl named Lucy who disappeared, and there is this famous game in this town where you try to summon her and kids go missing and blah, blah, blah. That's what happened to Becca, and Sarah is positive that Becca is still alive and that they can still find her. And what happens is 9 kids go into the woods and a lot of crazy stuff happens to them. It's very Silent Hill. If you've ever played the game or if you've ever seen the movie, that's what it really reminded me of, because we find this old road in this old town and so much is happening, and it's very mind-bendy and twisty, and not a lot of time happens, but they're in there for so long and we lose people along the way, all that kind of stuff. So it is very mystical. It was very paranormal. It was very supernatural. But because there were so many characters and there was a lot going on, I did get lost quite a few times in it, and I really wish that it was just about their time on this road instead of piecing that back together and it being police interviews, because I think taking it out like that and having those two different perspectives is what made it a little bit weird, because it was so bendy when you're in the road. I wanted it to be more focused in on that, but then every time we'd go back into reality, it took me out of it. I was like, okay, so you're telling me that these people really remembered this much from here when you're saying that they didn't remember going in with this other person? It didn't hold up a ton for me in that regard, but I did still like the story. I do still think it was interesting, and I really enjoyed the end of it. I thought the end was really cool, and of course, the way that they pulled the ending off, it did make sense with the interview side of things, but I still think you could have gotten there if you had taken the interview away. I think if this had just been a straight linear story of these kids looking for this girl, coming across this road, stuff happens to them, I think it would have been just as good, if not a little bit better, because it wouldn't have been quite as confusing. There was just so much going on, so many characters, so many ideas, that I think if it had been pared down, it just would have worked a little bit better. It was pretty spooky, it was pretty scary. I am a huge fan of horror, so in that regard, I think it was pretty cool. I think it would make for a pretty interesting movie. Like I said, it really reminded me of Silent Hill. It was very visual, but overall, I am giving this book a C+. It wasn't the best book I've ever read, but it certainly wasn't the worst. I do think it's worth checking out. I probably wouldn't recommend the audiobook just because I said there are so many characters and then 2 voices for every character, so it just gets a little bit weird in there, but it was interesting. And again, I'm still interested in Kate Alice Marshall. I still think that she has something interesting that she does with her books. There is this weird quality to them. I don't really know how to explain it other than that it does feel a little bit spiritual, a little bit paranormal. There's something supernatural about them that I do like. So I am still interested to see what she's going to be writing in the future. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you can talk books with me every week. That is everything got for today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!